Hi, I'm Christopher Randall with The Cottage in Shreveport. As a locally owned family business, The Cottage is always proud to support our local culinary arts community and to sponsor the Louisiana Food Prize. We hope you enjoy the presentation, In the Kitchen with the Food Prize, filmed right here at our showroom Sub-Zero and Wolf Live Kitchen. We hope you enjoy the demo and invite you to visit us at our website, thecottage.com, follow us on Facebook and Instagram, or visit our soon-to-be expanded showroom in the Piermont Common at 6505 Line Avenue, Suite 3 in Shreveport, Louisiana. Now, without further ado, Viva la Food Prize!
Viva la Food Prize!
Hey everybody, Melissa Brandon with the Food Prize, and welcome to In the Kitchen with the Food Prize, presented by Rosestone Wealth Advisors. We are thrilled to be here with you today, and did you check out these digs? Thank you so much to the Cottage for providing this gorgeous space for us and our chefs. We are thrilled to be here, and we're thrilled that you're with us. So, before we get started, you know I'm going to talk about it. Prize Fest 2021. It is just around the corner, folks, and we are taking it back to the streets for not one, but 2 weekends, September 24th through October 3rd. And I know all my food lovers are going to pay big attention to weekend 2 Food Prize. Friday, October 1st, you're going to want to be at Come and Get It. We're pairing local chefs with celebrity chefs, and you are going to get to choose our Golden Fork chef for 2021. All right, that's enough about that for now. I don't know about you, I'm getting hungry, but before we bring up our chefs, I want to bring up a very special person, Havard Lyons Havard. Get up here.
How are you doing?
I'm good. You making it?
I am. It's just shoulder surgery.
Well, you know, what are you going to do? But I love that, you're going to power through it because we've got some incredible chefs here.
I'm really looking forward to this.
I know, me too. I'm like, right? But tell us why Rosestone Wealth Advisors, why you wanted to kind of bring this to the Food Prize, bring this to the folks.
You know, we've always been supporters of Louisiana Prize Fest, and I love what they do, not just economically, but culturally for our city. But as we're all coming out of this pandemic, one of the things that we really wanted to do was support some of our local chefs. People are wanting to get out, get back to normal, and we want to see our local restaurants get back on their feet. So we thought this would be a great way of not only promoting Prize Fest, but also promoting some of our local chefs and encouraging everyone to meet us downtown for those 2 awesome weekends, but also hopefully to see you at some of these restaurants.
Man, I'm telling you, Havard, that just makes my heart happy. All right, so I think it's time. You ready?
I am ready.
All right.
So I want to introduce today's celebrity chefs. We have Brad Jones and Alison Gras. So come on up.
Hi, everybody.
I would clap, but I've only got one hand.
We can clap together.
There we go. Well, I'm really excited to meet you both. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So we are in the process of opening Cypress by the Revenir right down the street in the old Bistro Byron's location. It is going to be Southern-inspired tapas with craft cocktails, outside patio, full open kitchen, live fire grill, wood-fired oven. And we're just really looking forward to getting open.
Yeah, I'm excited about this because you're located right across the street from my office. So this will be someplace that I'll definitely get to check out. When are you planning on opening up?
So we are looking at the end of October, early November.
All right, so Allison, if I were to walk in first day, what would you suggest I might try out at your restaurant?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would have to say the bone marrow, and I only say that because I feel like people are kind of scared with the bone marrow, but it's definitely delicious. We prepare it in a really interesting, fun, delicious way. So I think that would be my suggestion for anybody going in there on their first day, just because Try something new. Try something great.
Well, Melanie and I actually love bone marrow, so I'm excited to hear
awesome.
that you have it on the menu. So why don't you tell us what you're going to prepare for us today? I'm looking forward to this.
So today we are going to be doing some Louisiana jumbo lump crab cakes, like 90% crab. And that is going to be served on top of a crystal hot sauce aioli, so still using Louisiana products. And then on top of that, we're going to be doing a green tomato chutney and some crispy fried okra.
That sounds awesome. I don't want to take up any more time. I want him to get to this so I can come back and have some of this food. Take it away, guys.
Absolutely.
So we're going to start with the chutney. That way it can be cooking while we do our crab cakes and get our aioli prepared. So we have these awesome green tomatoes that we got from our garden this morning, pulled them right off the vine. And I'm just going to show you how to cut them. It doesn't have to be perfect because it's all going in a pot and getting cooked. But there is some tricks to doing this. So what we like to do is take all 4 sides off of the tomato, and we're not going to use this part. It's got a lot of liquid in it and also a lot of kind of that hard, pithy part we don't want. So we've got all 4 of our sides. And then, like I said, this doesn't have to be perfect. So we're just going to kind of chop it up roughly. So we have some nice, beautiful chunks. Okay, so just wanted to show you that. And we have some already ready. The magic of television. And then we also have some shallots and some different colored bell peppers. So we've got red, green, and not green. We've got red, orange, and yellow here to build our chutney on the stove. A chutney is basically any kind of sour fruit with sugar and vinegar and spices. So we're going to go ahead and move over to the stove, and we're going to toast our spices.
Now, why are you toasting the spices?
So with these spices, they release their flavor with oil. So when we toast them, it releases that oil and releases the flavor. So I don't have anything else in the pan. I just have my spices and a cast iron. We like using cast iron because it's thick and it holds that heat. And it's a nice even heat. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of giving it a little shake. And I'm not going to be doing this for very long. All I want to do is toast them till I can smell them. So we're getting pretty close already. But I don't really want to see any color or anything like that. So I'm just toasting them very briefly. Okay. And while I'm over here, we have our jalapeno, and we are going to just burn it, essentially. So,
Now, why do you want to do that? Why do you want to burn it?
So, in the restaurant, we'll have a wood-fired grill where we can do this, and we don't have to do it on the stove, but not everybody has one of those at their house. Mm-hmm. And you could take this out on your grill if you wanted to as well, but this way is pretty easy. I just want kind of that charred flavor in the chutney, so it's not so one-dimensional.
Yeah.
But you can hear it popping. That's what we want. We want to start to see it start to char up a little bit. Oh yeah, charred jalapenos are great in salsas, chutneys, put it on a burger.
So it's actually something we completely remade. My grandma, she used to make tomato pies, and she made it was with real red tomatoes, not green tomatoes, but they were sweet and they were savory, and it was in a pie crust, and we were like, how can we get that flavor and that using southern ingredients to come out and complement a dish like crab cakes? So we took a different route, took it out of the pie crust and put it in a pot and made a chutney out of it. But it still it gives you that flavor that the crab cake needs. It needs a little bit of sweetness. So.
All right, I think we're ready to bring this over and give it a little cut. Okay, so jalapenos are spicy, and we want the flavor of the jalapeno, but we don't want it to be overpoweringly spicy. So we're just going to take the skin part off of this. So I like to cut it in fourths. She probably does it different. There's lots of ways to do it, but I like to do that, and then just slide my knife down the pepper, and it takes all of that white spicy part and the seeds out. And just gonna chop this up. And like I said earlier with the tomatoes, this doesn't have to be perfect. It's all going in a pot and getting cooked down. Okay, so that's our jalapeno. Now we're ready to kind of put it all in the pot for the chutney. So let's slide over here, back to our stove. Okay, I'm gonna start with just a little bit of butter, because butter always makes it better. And we're gonna throw our vegetables in. So this is our bell peppers and our onions and our shallots. And yeah, so I've got my bell peppers, my shallots, and my jalapenos in here. And I'm gonna add my spices. And we're gonna give this a little saute just until these vegetables start to cook down a little bit and become soft. Right. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and add our green tomatoes and our vinegar. So this is just apple cider vinegar. And a little garlic. And sugar. We're just gonna kind of give this a little stir to kind of incorporate everything. Okay, so we're just gonna zest a little bit of lemon in here. The lemon zest is actually really floral, which goes really nicely with the spices that we've put in there. And then just gonna squeeze a little bit of lemon juice in here. Okay, so we've built up our chutney, and now all we have to do is let this cook till it reduces down till there's not really any liquid, and then we'll be ready on the chutney.
Okay, so now that you have the chutney going, that'll cook for about 20 minutes. We can get started on the other elements. Now look, I know you can just do the crab cake and it'll still be delicious. It would be amazing. And we have a lot of components that we're doing today, but you can't miss out on. I feel like every crab cake needs a sauce, and ours is a crystal hot sauce aioli. So we make ours from egg yolks with oil, and we season it with crystal hot sauce. A quick, easy way to do it that makes it just as good is with mayonnaise. Like Blue Label Hellman's mayonnaise from the grocery store with your hot sauce and the rest of the ingredients in the recipe. And it's quick, simple, easy, and takes maybe 5 minutes. So that's our sauce for the crab cake, and we'll get to that when we plate it. One of the other components going on top of the crab cake are these crispy okra chips. As you can see, Brad loves them. So I love fried okra, the breaded, crispy fried okra that you used to get at like Cracker Barrel when I was a kid with my family. But this is like our take on it. It's a little different. It's not breaded. It is still fried. But I think it just adds a really crunchy, delicious element to an already wonderful crab cake.
Yeah, so the one thing I hate about okra is it can be slimy sometimes. And sometimes you can't find like super fresh okra at the grocery store or at the farmer's market, so you have to kind of settle. And the beautiful thing about these is when you prepare them like this, they are not ever slimy.
No.
Like even like old okra that's already starting to get slimy, not slimy.
No, they're crunchy, they're crispy, and like I said, they add that crunch that the crab cake needs. Now, how we do them, be careful. Warning advisory for at-home chefs. You want to do this very slowly. This is a mandolin, and we just watch your fingers, and you just slide the okra down the mandolin.
I've lost probably like 3 or 4 fingertips doing this. So.
And you just want to be as careful as possible. Go slow. Take your time.
Is there any trick to it? Not taking your fingers off? Because I haven't learned
Go
it.
slow. Take your time. You get these thin, little crispy, not yet, little okra chips that we then just took and fried in vegetable oil. And they take, maybe 30 seconds. You just want to fry them till they start to turn brown like this. Scoop them out, put them on a paper towel, and dust them with a little bit of salt, and they're crunchy, delicious.
Pro tip, if you have any bacon fat lying around, excellent to fry your okra in.
Because everybody has all their bacon fat lying around.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that we know how to make our aioli, we know how to make our okra, star of the show.
Yeah.
Let's make the crab cakes.
All right.
Okay, so everything on this sheet pan are all the ingredients for the crab cakes. I guess the biggest tip I would give you is mix everything except your crab ahead of time. Like, you want to have everything fully incorporated so that way when you add your crab, that's the last thing that you're adding, and you're not beating up this beautiful jumbo lump crab meat that you paid good money for. So we're gonna start with about a cup of mayonnaise, cup and a half. We have 2 eggs.
Ooh, can I crack them?
While you're doing that, so again, you'll have the recipe that'll fully explain all this. These are sauteed down aromatics and veggies. It is onions, bell peppers, celery, garlic. I saute it down in a little bit of oil with Old Bay and bay leaves. But you do want to add it to your crab cake mixture cooled. So you want to saute that off, pop it in the fridge real quick, and just let it cool off. So that way it's not making your eggs and your mayonnaise hot.
And could I use the same kind of onions and bell pepper mix that I use for my chutney for this?
Absolutely, yeah.
Kind of save myself some time.
Cut it all at one time.
Yeah.
Cut it all at one time, separate it. Half of your chutney and half goes in the skillet for this. Okay, so we're just gonna start mixing that up. We have green onions, garlic powder. Do you wanna take the lids off of these for
Yeah.
me?
What's this?
So that is Worcestershire.
Okay.
Worcestershire. Worcester. However you say it, it adds a great kind of, I guess, meaty umami flavor to your crab cake. So we definitely.
Am I putting all this in here?
No.
Okay.
Put about half of it in
Okay.
there. Yep. We're gonna mix all that up. We have whole grain Dijon mustard and the hot sauce.
Okay. Just a little bit, or all of it?
About half.
Okay.
And again, the full recipe will be available to you guys. So we have some sliced green onions and some fresh lemon juice. You just want to squeeze it.
Put the rock
If you
lights
don't-
on here.
If you don't have a citrus squeezer, you just squeeze it into your hand. That way you're not getting any of the seeds into your mixture. Okay, so trust the process. I know it doesn't look like a lot right now, but we want to get all that mixed up.
Did you put this in here?
Not yet.
Okay.
Stop rushing me. So we want to mix that up. We're going to add a little bit of pepper and a little bit of Old Bay seasoning. I feel like Old Bay just goes so well with seafood.
Now, if you wanted to use, say, like a Tony's, or if you had your own super secret
Absolutely.
seafood blend.
Any type of good seafood or seasoning salt blend. We're gonna add a little bit of panko breadcrumbs, just so it can start absorbing some of that moisture. We don't do a lot because ours are mostly crab, but we do like to add a little bit just to bind them and hold it all together. Now, trick. These are actually gluten-free breadcrumbs. We have found, whether you're gluten-free or not gluten-free, we have found gluten-free breadcrumbs when we go to coat either side of the crab cakes before we sear it, becomes so much more crispier than regular breadcrumbs. So that is our pro tip for those. I'm gonna mix that up. And star of the show, jumbo
Look at that crab. That's amazing.
lump crab. Okay. And again, you add your crab. You might need some more breadcrumbs. Just play it by ear. We just need it to firm up just a little bit. Okay, so now that we have all that mixed up, and again, you want to be very gentle with your crab, make sure you don't break it up. We are going to form them. Brad, if you'll help me here. We have a super cool, a super easy, easy way to form our crab cakes that makes it a lot less stressful. You're not packing down your crab a whole lot. We, as a future Southern tapas restaurant, are doing a smaller version today, but you can definitely at home, if you're wanting to make this like a one course meal, do it as a larger size and just do your aioli or whatever other elements of the dish you want to make, and just have it as a full serving versus like an appetizer. You can find these at most grocery stores. I think even Kroger has them. I think we got ours from Bath & Beyond.
Yeah.
But Amazon, anywhere, I feel like they're super easy to find nowadays.
And we like the set that comes with like 8 or 9 different sizes. That way, if I'm really hungry, I can make a giant crab cake or put it on a sandwich.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Smart. Pro move. Okay, so the best way I like to form crab cakes, you're gonna put it on your sheet pan with a little bit of parchment just so they don't stick. Sprinkle a little bit of your breadcrumbs in there just so you have a breadcrumb base. And then you're gonna take some of your mixture, put it right inside. And again, don't pack it, we're not packing it down. We don't want it to break up all your beautiful crab. Sprinkle some on top, and then just lightly press it so it forms. And then you're gonna hold 2 fingers while you slide up with the other hand. Now you have your perfect crab cake. Okay.
Now, are we going straight into the pan with these?
No. So another trick, because there is panko in the mixture, panko and other breadcrumb substitutes like that absorb liquid slowly, and we want to make sure that they're completely set so that when you put them in your skillet, you're able to flip them and sear them on both sides without them just completely falling apart. You know.
Yeah.
You know that.
So I've made the mistake of not being prepared for a party at the house, and I made these right before people came and put them in my skillet, and I had basically a hot crab salad.
Oh. Unfortunate. Still tasted good.
So make sure you prepare these ahead of time.
Yeah, you just, and we say ahead of time, just about 2-3 hours in the fridge just so they can firm back up, and then you sear them off. It's perfectly
Now,
good.
if I had time the day before, could I make these and put them in the fridge?
Absolutely.
And just throw them in the saute pan the next day?
Yeah, so make them, form them, do everything I'm doing right now. Cover them maybe with another sheet of parchment and some plastic wrap just so they stay fresh and don't get dry or pick up any fridge flavors or fridge smells. And then, yeah, just take them out and sear them the next day. You can even make this mix like let's say I made way too much today and I wanted to save this, put it in a Ziploc bag, airtight, lay it flat and put it in your freezer, thaw it out a couple weeks later and form your crab cakes. So, okay, do you want to go ahead and put these in the fridge?
Yeah, let's go ahead and get them in.
And while you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and set this oven to 350.
Okay.
Okay,
All right, I think it's been about 2 to 3 hours.
now it's time for the fun part.
Okay, I'm gonna go get them out of the fridge.
How they look?
They look great.
Nice and firm?
Yeah.
Yep, perfect. Okay, so we're gonna start by melting just about a tablespoon to a tablespoon and a half of butter.
If I don't have butter, could I use something else?
Absolutely. Oil, avocado oil, vegetable oil.
Bacon fat?
Bacon fat. I knew that's where you were going with that. We just want to make sure the entire bottom of the pan is coated. Okay, so we're just gonna sear these crab cakes in the skillet, and then we're actually gonna return them to our sheet pan and pop them in that oven that we preheated earlier. That way we can make sure we get a super crispy, golden brown, delicious crab cake, but we also want it to be heated and hot all the way through. So,
Now, what kind of pan are we using?
now I am using a non-stick pan.
Okay.
I have had many troubles with crab cakes sticking, and I have found that this works best for me. Sometimes people will use a cast iron, and I think cast irons would work just fine as long as you have enough fat and oil in the pan. But I'm a sucker for a non-stick pan. It guarantees a good result. So these will probably take about 1 minute to 2 minutes on either side. Again, you're not looking to cook them all the way through. You just want them golden, brown, and crispy.
Now, what happens if one does break?
That's a chef snack.
Perfect. So they're not completely ruined if they break them.
No, not at all. They'll still taste delicious. They just won't be pretty perfect little cakes. I found that an offset spatula works really well for flipping them, just because we do the tiny version. But if you're at home, if you're making a larger version of the crab cake, you can definitely just use a regular spatula. But I'm seeing some brown. And also, if you're at home, if you're making the full batch of crab cakes, you are going to have more than just 3, obviously. Make sure you don't overcrowd and pack them in really tight in your pan. Make sure you give them enough room to be able to move around, and that way we just ensure that...
Those look great.
Yeah. I think I'm going to switch to the bigger guy.
Yeah.
Just want to be very careful. Don't burn yourself.
Now, when we're doing these in batches, how do you keep your butter and the breadcrumbs that have fallen off from burning on the second batch?
So that's a great question. So you can see that the butter is already starting to brown, and the breadcrumbs that have fallen off are getting a little toasted, maybe too toasty by the time the second batch comes around. I personally would take it off the heat, give it a quick wipe with a kitchen towel or a paper towel, put it back on the heat, and melt fresh butter.
Gotcha.
Just to make sure that you don't risk having burnt pieces.
Those look awesome.
Okay, we're going to take this off the heat.
I love how crispy gluten-free breadcrumbs get without burning.
Exactly. That's why I like them so much better than regular breadcrumbs. Can
All
you
right.
put that in the oven?
Yeah, we're gonna put this in the oven. All right, so we're gonna put those in the oven for about 5 to 10 minutes for the small ones. If you are doing the bigger ones, you do want them to be more like 15 to 20 minutes. You just want them hot and cooked all the way through.
Sounds good. It's about that time.
Let's see how they look. Oh, look, we got some extra ones.
Look at that magic.
Okay, I don't want to burn you.
Okay, So now that we have all of our components ready and made, we're going to show you how we would plate it in the restaurant. But by all means, if you don't make all the components, or if you just make one or two of them, plate it however you want to plate it. It'll be delicious either way. You want to grab those?
Sure. Okay.
Okay. So we're going to start with that aioli that we made earlier. Just give it a little stir.
And you could totally just put this in a bowl too, right? And
Absolutely.
serve it on the side.
Just dip it.
Now, what's that technique you're using? Spread it.
Allison's
Is that
extra.
Smooshing it or?
Swiping it.
Yeah, swiping it.
Okay, so we're just gonna pop a few of these on the plate.
Those look good.
They do look good.
Okay.
And again, our restaurant is Southern Tapas, so that's why we're doing it in the smaller version, more family style, but you can plate it however you want. Here is our chutney that we made earlier. Now, do we want to?
Yeah, so you want to make sure to pull the cardamom seeds out before you serve the chutney. It's not pleasant biting into a big cardamom seed. Also, with the chutney, if you want, before you cook it, you can grind those spices if you don't like the big bites of coriander and mustard seed and fennel. But we like that, so.
It adds a little pop while you're eating.
Absolutely.
I'm just gonna put a little bit of this on top of each crab cake. So each one has that pop of sweetness, a little bit of acid, and it just makes a really nice composed bite. Okay, and last but not least, our crispy okra chips that we did. Just gonna do some of those. Right on top. Do you want to talk about your herbs, Bradley?
Yeah, so went out in the garden this morning and picked some fresh herbs. When we garnish plates in the restaurant, we like to make sure that the garnish kind of matches the dish and it's not just on there to look pretty. So I picked some fresh dill, some fresh cilantro, some chive flowers, and then we actually had some beautiful cucumber flowers too that we put in here. And then we also have something really special. We actually have some green coriander seeds that add just a nice pop of flavor.
I was gonna do this while you kept talking about it.
Oh, okay.
And we're just gonna put a little bit of that herb greenery right on top of each one. A flower here and there.
They look great. I'm ready to eat.
I think I am too. So they're done. We're friends. Melissa, Henry, you want to come back?
First of all,
Yeah.
listen, y'all don't have to ask us back into the kitchen. I mean, sadly, we've been hanging out on the side, and
I'm amazed we didn't have to stop filming because of the noise from my stomach growling. This smells incredible.
I know I have been like waiting to dig in. All right, have her. I'm gonna clumsily. Oh my gosh! I know you got your arm in the sling, so you gotta
we don't want to bump the
Right.
shoulder.
I know, now I'm getting nervous. All right.
That was good.
Thank you. I was like, for years
Well
I was
done.
trained about like having to do, what is it? They call it like the angel hiss or the angel sigh. Like it's like really gauche in like the fancy restaurants to make it pop. But I mean, we're just hanging here and it's just friends and how much fun. On a better day, maybe, get the saber out. Yes, please have her. I'm gonna hand
Thank
it
you.
your way and have you move in. All right. I'm actually gonna set mine down for just a second because I've got to get into this. Do y'all want to?
You ready? Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Sorry.
Thank you.
I know. I was like,
That
oh,
took too long.
Yeah, exactly. All right, get in there, friend.
All right, this
Oh
one's
my
for
gosh.
me.
I want like all of it.
Yeah, make sure you
Yeah.
get a little bit of
Yes,
everything.
Okay.
Definitely. I've made a mess of my cake, but it's
Here, you try it.
Yes.
The chutney. I feel like the crab cake, it needs it. It's so good. Toot toot. I'm tooting my own horn.
Okay, now yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That is awesome.
Right? There's so much going on. I like the little crunch from the weirdly the gluten-free, you're right.
Yeah.
Like gluten-free is like giving the crunch. I'm like totally gonna eat okra crispy chips like all day, every day. I was a Western Sizzler girl, so I feel you. Oh my gosh.
No,
Check
they're
out
good.
all that beautiful crab.
I mean, like it's a crab cake that
Yeah.
actually has crab in it. Habert, what do you? I know.
And that's crab with a C, not a
Right,
K.
exactly. Oh my gosh, this is delicious. I'm
It's
gonna ask
incredible.
you too. I know. I waited till you have like a full.
I loaded that fork up too.
So, guys, any last words? Any like words of wisdom for folks that have been like cooking along or watching? Anything you want to tell those folks at home?
Don't panic. If it goes wrong, it'll come out great in the end anyway.
Even if your crab cakes break,
Yeah,
it'll still taste
and,
delicious.
and you're still with friends and family, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, this is fantastic. I can't thank you enough. Howard.
Thank you very much.
you for
This is
us.
awesome, and I'm really looking forward to trying out your restaurant.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, and Howard, thanks so much for coming and hanging with us. And I mean, I think it is only appropriate that we go out with a Viva La Food Prize. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, ready.
But like, you have to like mean it. Don't.
Okay.
He's ready.
All right. So 1, 2, 3.
Viva La Food Prize!
All right. Hey, cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah. Yum. This is so delicious.